Vice Chair, call the meeting to order of the McHenry County Senior Services Grant Commission. And I wanted to introduce our new liaison to the Planning and Development Committee, Maria Avila.
Hello, nice to meet you.
This is the end of her 4th week, so, you know, we have had communications from both of them, and going forward, it'll be Maria.
Yes.
And if you could take attendance.
Thomas, Ruth, Pletz,
Here.
Nicholas,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Krieger, Holtz,
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Hart,
Here.
Plagowski,
Here.
Duffin,
Here.
Campbell,
Here.
Altuff. All right.
Thomas is here, sir.
Yeah.
First name. I thought it was Thomas. First name, sorry.
So we do have a quorum.
We do.
And is the next step for who's online?
She's not online, so
Oh, so who was it again?
Dina.
Dina.
Dina might try to join us online, and if she does, do I have a consensus that she can do it online?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. We needed that. And then next is public comment, and I don't see that we have any
no,
public.
we don't.
Old business, Q1 expenditures.
All right. Do you mind opening that spreadsheet?
Oh, sure.
And if we can enlarge, that'd be great. This is a new set of glasses. There's no way I can read that. And these are new glasses. There we go.
Is that too big?
Yeah, maybe a little smaller so
Yeah.
we can see the names.
On the right side of the spreadsheet, it has the breakdown by the 2 quarters as well.
Here?
Yeah, it's got a little more on top and on the bottom, so you can go up a bit. So in Q1, $524,281 was spent, about 26% of the total grant allocation. This included 5,678 unduplicated seniors being served and over 46,000 service units among the different projects. Just a few notes, there were no December reimbursements from the Harvard Community Senior Center projects. The Pearls project confirmed with their executive director, so we will not be receiving that. And then we also did not receive February reimbursements for Harvard Community Senior Center Pearls or their core services projects. And then I also noted that the McHenry County Housing Authority Senior Dental Program and the Habitat for Humanity's Senior Critical Home Repair projects had small Q1 reimbursements, but there's still a lot of time for them to spend down those grants. In Q2, to date, there's only about $51,000 spent, all from Independence Health and Therapy March monthly reimbursements. And this is because Q2 reimbursements aren't due until the end of this month, so there's not much to report on yet. We'll likely be getting those over the next couple of weeks. And then we also, Maria had a discussion with Harvard Community Senior Center, and they had asked to switch to quarterly reimbursements instead of monthly. So they'll be doing that monthly now. And
That
then
might work better for them.
yeah. With that switch, this will leave Independence Health and Therapy and their 2 projects as the only ones on a monthly reimbursement schedule. And they do a good job with timely and accurate submissions.
Any questions?
Just one.
Yeah.
I don't see any of the numbers on the screen that you're speaking of. When you
Yeah, it's
talk
just a
about
little, it's a little
5,000.
zoomed in.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
see any of them, so how do you know what we're voting on if we can't see the numbers that you're speaking of?
There they
I
are.
don't, yeah, the that right, 2 columns, that's broken down between quarter 1 and 2. And then the left is just all the projects and all the data we have on them so far.
And we're not voting on it, we're just accepting this report.
Okay, no, but I still have to understand.
Oh, yeah,
This is my
absolutely.
first day, so.
And ask as many questions as you'd like, yes.
May I make a comment?
Yep.
I think for new people and people with old eyes, it would be very helpful if, because I think this can be printed on a single sheet. If we had, for next time we review this, if we had one that could be in front of us.
Of course.
And then if there are any questions about what different things mean, the chair or one of us
Sure.
old timers could go over it.
Sure.
That's no problem.
And if it does get to be too much paper, even if you emailed that to me, I can
Yeah.
print it off for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was gonna be my comment, if it can just be delivered prior to the meeting.
Okay.
I'm a digital girl.
Yeah.
So it's just easier for me to comprehend it
Yeah.
from my desk chair versus on a screen with 30 seconds to analyze it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, could it be a part of the packet even? I mean, it didn't come in the
Yeah.
packet.
Sure.
Okay.
That's what I was going to go back and check.
And of course, I've already
There.
forgotten
I didn't think
some.
it was, but I thought I could.
Yeah, I think one of you had requested that, and right, Eric, and we had emailed it to one of you, one of the commissioners. But we'll do it for everyone.
Please.
That would be very helpful, thank you.
Of course.
If we could back up to review and approval of last month's minutes. I don't know.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, any changes, corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Now move to quarter 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, I kind of already went over quarter 2.
Yeah, they're both
Oh,
in,
they're both in
the
Yeah, there
spreadsheet.
wasn't much to talk about just because
Right.
quarter 2 is not due until the end of this month. So we only received 2 reimbursements from Independence Health and Therapy for quarter 2.
Okay. So if you could send this out to us.
Yes.
That'd be
Do
great.
you need a motion to accept it, or is
I don't
it
know.
just for information?
It's just
No,
info.
it was just a review
Yeah,
last
just
time.
a review.
Thank you. Investment update.
So every year, started last year, I believe. We've been taking some of the grant dollars and investing them to generate more revenue that potentially can go back to the agencies. And so this just happened last week. The wire transfer was sent for $800,000 to be invested to hopefully gain some interest and be able to give back to more to the agencies. And I will get those details for you as soon as they're actually invested and I have an interest rate and what that'll be invested. But like I said, it just happened last week, so I don't unfortunately have those details. But at least you know the amount, and hopefully we can see a pretty good return. I think last time it was about $60,000 that
Wow.
it generated,
That's
that we were
great.
able to either, put in a reserve or use for an emergency maybe that an agency might have. So as soon as I get those details, I will email them.
And does our treasurer make the decision?
Yes.
Of where they're being invested?
Yes.
Thank you.
Donna Kurtz.
Any questions? Okay, the McHenry County, this was emailed to us
Yes.
Yes.
quite extensively. Senior data population.
Yeah, I mean, I just, we were talking about it, I think, at the last meeting, just having information about local demographics. It was a little harder to find than I thought it might be for some reason. But this seems to be the most accurate, and I did run this by Chairman Altoff, and she said, yeah, we can just continue to use this moving forward. This is actually from the Census Bureau. It's the American Community Survey, so very accurate information. And just periodically, we'll provide you with this with any updates. But I did kind of highlight some of the key areas. Obviously the amount of seniors age 60 and over that we have living in McHenry County, which is the 70,632. I did pull the 2018 data as well, which was the last time the American Community Survey was done, and that's a 17% increase since 2018 in the community. So, but I also highlighted that 36% of those 60 and over were living alone. 24% had a disability, and that 27% of the owner-occupied homes were cost burdened. So that means that they're spending more than 30% of their income just on housing. And then 54% of those who rent, age 60 and over, were also cost burdened. So I just kind of highlighted the things that kind of jumped out at me as, wow, kind of the issues that we're facing. So,
And is pertinent to what we're going to discuss next.
yeah.
Thank you.
I had a question on that data, actually, just quickly. Was there, and I apologize if it's in here and I'm asking a question where I should have just read it ahead of time a little more closely, but was there a number that we could calculate about how many, what percentage of citizens over 60 are renting versus owning, and then what the sort of absolute number would be within that margin? Because I look at the renter side of things, and more than half is quite startling to me, that they're experiencing that burden. So to have an absolute number, I think, would be a
Of
good
those
sort of
who
reference point.
own their home and those who rent.
And those who
Yep.
rent, and then cost burden in
Yes.
addition to that.
I can absolutely, and I'm not sure if that specifically is in here, but there's other reports that we could run,
Yeah.
can generate those for you.
From our industry, I'm in the real estate industry, it's difficult to extrapolate that because many seniors are not renting, they're living with relatives.
Who are.
And there's no tracking for that at
Right.
this point, other than dissecting people's tax returns for other dependents, which again is protected information, so you can't really go there. Because we've tried to do the same study, if they don't, because you can do, if you own your home, that's a simple extraction.
Right.
But once they're off the ownership grid, there was no tracking device on how do we know where they're living?
Sure.
We found it very difficult and spent a lot of money trying to find those parameters, and we were frustrated. So, not to say it can't be done.
No, but if it's a
I know
business case,
for our
then-
industry, our interest was, if not ownership, where
Mhm.
and why? And we couldn't come up with a way to find it.
Well, that's good to know, I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I was real surprised by the big number, that 22% of our county is senior citizens. Because that, I know the last time that I saw this report, that number was significantly less. So we're all aging in place.
As we look around the room.
As we look around the room, like literally, we're all aging in place and still choosing to stay here, even though this is not the easiest community and climate. But I thought it was a very interesting report, and thank you for providing it.
No, absolutely.
Could I ask a question on that? 60 years and over, not in labor force, 65.2%. That's a hell of a lot. 65% for 60 and over? I mean, I worked until I was 69, and I know many people younger than me are still working, so I thought that number was kind of high. 65%. That was on page 8.
Page 8.
13 of 34, I should say, sorry, 13 of 34.
Should I
I don't
take-
think I got that handout at all, I'm not seeing.
No, it's not.
It's from the
I got
agenda
that from-
packet.
Say again?
He's looking at it on the
He's
agenda
looking on the
packet that was
packet, so-
emailed.
I have the printed page.
Printed
Me
it out,
too.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
okay, and that's on, it says page 13 of 4,
So it would be page 8 on yours.
yes.
And where is the number?
60 years and older, it says 65, not labor force, 65.2%. Of course, it's an estimate.
Got it.
Margin of error about 1.2%. I don't know, I just think that's inflated.
Is it 60 and older or 16?
60.
No, this is 16 and over.
No, but if you look at the far right column, it says total, but it's 60 years and over. It's highlighted in yellow.
Oh, that's 34%.
It's the row not in labor force, is what he's looking at there. Is that correct?
Got it.
That's got hard numbers. in labor force total is 69%. Oh, not in labor force.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
65% of 60-year-olds or
Are-
older are not working.
I find that hard to believe. I mean, just from all the people that I know in the community of Algonquin, Cary, Crystal Lake,
See, I know both. I know a lot of people that work and I know a lot of people that don't.
but
I'm one that doesn't at 65, and my father-in-law's 94, and he's still working.
and now he changed the guidelines, this is 60 now.
Correct.
It used to be 62, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think this is reflective of a lot of the buyouts, a lot of the early retirements, a lot of people taking options that weren't available to them 10 years ago.
Prior
As the
pandemic.
Yep, as prior to the pandemic, when companies were doing restructuring and right-sizing. And I only speak to that, Jerry, because I look at my inner circle of peers, and many of them just took I always call it the easy out at the dining room, but took a severance package and a balloon and called it a day, and they moved on to a second life, whether that's awesome grandparenting or traveling or just enjoying their moment. Of course, I haven't, she has, but again, I think it's an interesting number.
Okay?
Which shows how busy our restaurants are and how busy our senior services need to be, because that's what they're relying on for activities and things to do and places
Quality
to
of
go.
life, yeah.
Quality of life, yeah.
Is this comparable to like other counties like Lake and Kane?
I don't have that data. I just know working within my community,
But that's.
if I had to do just a visual observation,
Mhm.
you know, people out and about every day look more like us. And
I don't agree with that, they don't look like us.
We'd have to look up where.
Not in the places that I attend, they don't look like us.
And I think every community is different.
Maybe so.
And you'd have to do a deep dive into the census and how they extrapolate that data to see if it's something you agree with or not. Yeah. But thanks, Jerry.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, the 2026 grant update?
Yes. So, the program 2026, notice of funding availability and the application will be posted on Monday of next week. And then those will actually be due to the Community Development Department by June 20th, so that's when they'll close. And then we will review every application for eligibility, making sure it's not a township or a startup organization and that they're within the framework of the statutes as well. And then from there, after that, the commissioners will be able to go in and start reviewing those in Neighborly. And I know we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but for anyone who's new, you will be sent very detailed instructions. You'll be also sent like to create an account and a password. But I know it's later on the agenda.
And even if we're not new, will we get the instructions again?
Yes, I can send them to everybody.
Yes.
I can definitely.
We don't have to set up the account, because that's done.
Yes,
but-
right. More than happy to.
Yeah, thank you.
And then that's where you'll be going in and actually like grading, these pre-applications. So then at the July meeting, that's when you'll determine which pre-applications you want to move forward to full applications. And then those full applications are when we're going to meet on September 19th and actually go through all of the full applications and decide who gets what funding. So that's the long meeting. But just want to give you an update that will be going out on Monday. And so I would imagine after Monday starts, we'll start to see some applications coming in. Some late, a little bit later. Some do it really early. But we'll keep everybody posted on that. And then we're also going to have an informational meeting for all of the agencies on the 15th. So if anyone has questions on their application or maybe I know that there's a couple people who called me that said, like, I'm a new grant writer, like, so I've never written this grant for this agency before, so we've got some people coming to that as well.
Which meeting is that? I'm sorry.
It's just gonna be an informational meeting for
May-
anyone who has
When?
questions about the applications,
May
Yes, what day?
15th.
the 15th.
Okay, I'm sorry, so I think I wrote something down wrong. So they can start applications on Monday,
Yes,
Yes,
and what's the deadline, please?
June
June
20th.
20th.
May
Okay.
20th?
June 20th.
June 20th.
June
And so,
20th.
and then during that process is your informational meeting on the 15th, is that here?
Yes,
Okay. What time?
2 o'clock.
And then our July meeting, I don't remember the date, but that's when we decide which of those will move forward to full consideration in September. And so that's one of your longer, I know you have at least 2 pretty long meetings. I'm assuming the July meeting is your,
The September meeting.
and
is
the
the
September
long-
meeting is
meeting is
definitely
long,
long.
all
The
day.
long-
The July meeting is for staff. We're more than welcome, I soon to come, but we're not required to have a
Oh, I
meeting.
see, so that's a staff meeting to decide, I'm sorry.
For the grant people to, if they have any questions, there'd be more technical questions about the grant.
That's the
Right, that's the May, the
That's the
July
May.
is us.
Yes.
Yes,
July is
sorry.
us, no, that's
But
okay.
that's not an all-day meeting.
No, it's not, but
No.
I do recall one of
It's a
them was a
little
little
longer,
longer than
yeah.
normal.
Yeah, the
And then you had
September
really
is
long.
longer. Yeah.
Unless we all agree.
So-
Yeah.
So the July meeting, you'll have all of the applications, and then some you may not want to proceed to the full. This is kind of the pre-application.
Right, exactly.
And that could be.
Would
you know,
we have
for-
done our homework before the July meeting or the September?
Yes, so you'll have until after we review the projects for eligibility, which should take us a few days, I'm guessing. That's when we'll send out a notice, please go into Neighborly and start, because we may not have all the applications until the deadline of the 20th.
Correct.
Or some of them may be ineligible, so we don't want to say, oh, go in now, and then you're looking at projects that may not even qualify. But we'll send out all those notices to everybody, like you can
You'll
start
have-
reviewing.
Yeah, about a month to review them.
Mhm. So
Sometime.
the end of, a little bit after June 20th till the July 25th meeting.
And this, what I'd say.
Go ahead.
Who's going through, checking out all the applications? That's us? And so-
We'll check them for eligibility first, just to make
The
sure.
background check I'm talking about, like we talked about that dental program during the orientation.
Well, if they'd had a year of in service, most of these are going to be ones that we've already funded. If there was.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
if there was someone
Not
brand
new
new.
applicant. Okay.
Exactly.
All right,
But they have to have been supplying the service for at least a year is one of our new policies.
all right.
Right, so like say somebody had just started a not-for-profit 6 months ago, we would screen that out as ineligible.
So we wouldn't even
So
see
you
it.
wouldn't even see it.
Good.
Sorry, that was a lot of, I guess it was a big timeline.
Yeah.
Is everything,
And I had something come in and go out again, so.
Do you have a question?
Well, I was just going to say, another reason we evaluate the pre-applications is it's a lot of work to do the full. And if we know from the get-go that this entity is not eligible, let's tell them now so they don't go to all of the work of
Right.
doing the full application.
And what I remembered now, when I first was digging into Neighborly and self-teaching through the instructions, was that it was gonna take me a lot of time once I had done the first one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna sit here, to go through 13 applications. And so I figured it out with my timeline, okay, I can do 2 or 3 a day, that means I need this many days, and when I could do it. So you might wanna think about how you spread out doing that homework, because it's a little bit of a time commitment to really do a look at the application, at least I found. Okay.
any other questions or?
Okay, bylaws and policy. Here's the meat of the meeting.
Yes.
And did you have these copies over there? Did everybody bring a copy?
Yeah.
Of, it's on the very first page.
Yep, that's one of the changes. There's about 3 changes.
Yeah.
And this has been approved and suggested by the
State's Attorney's
State's
Office.
Attorney's Office.
And this is just to include the language, at the last meeting, we determined the age to be 60. We just need to amend the bylaws to reflect those changes. The other change would be just changing the 8 for quorum required to a majority, so the language would just say a majority.
And what would be required of the grant recipients so that we can get that on page 2. Senior service grant recipients shall be required to report all age demographic information and reasons for any age exemptions so that we can comply with that age 60.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bylaws as presented.
Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, and then in the policy manual, what?
Consent.
Oh, thank you. It's been too long.
That's why she wanted me sitting next to her, right?
Exactly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And we should do a separate one for the policy manual, which is the same language in those places. So can I have a motion to approve the policy manual?
So moved.
By Peggy, seconded by
Second.
Sue. Any questions or comments on the policy manual? I think this is something now I'm gonna keep near me, so, because it takes me a while to read and inwardly digest all those points of policy. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Oh, here's the long part, neighborly review.
Yes, so as we were kind of mentioning earlier, after all of the applications are received by the June 20th, we'll send out notification that you can start going into Neighborly and reviewing the applications. And for new commissioners, well, actually for everyone, you said, but we send it to everybody. And I don't want to go through this in detail right now, but you'll be getting, new commissioners will get an email from Neighborly, so please check spam. Like if you see something like, what is that, don't delete it. And then it'll prompt you to create a new account and a password. And then we will send you these detailed instructions, and we'll send these to everybody, just as kind of a review. But as you can see, it literally is screenshots of like, this is where you go, this is your next step. You know, next step is to go here, and it's got his screenshots that really detail everything out for you. So I just didn't want to go through it step by step now because it won't be in, and I will email it to you later, but.
And you can't read that. We have to be in front of our screen.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit yeah.
So this will come out in July?
It'll be June.
June.
As soon as the applications close and we have a couple of days to review them, just to make sure they're all eligible, then we'll send this out to everyone. But the new commissioners will get an email
Perfect,
to
thank you.
create a new account. Yep, but it's step by step.
So it'll be interesting for me when I started to do it, I found, right, there was a lot of information. And I'm like, okay, how am I, gonna absorb this and understand what they do and how they do it? And I started to see patterns where, for me, some of that information was extraneous. I might have been wrong, that's just me. So hopefully this time when I do it again, I'll have a new look at it and learn even deeper. I don't know what you guys found the first time around, as far as when they would send us back to the application. The application was complicated to me. But.
It was very time consuming at first, and I called Pam, and she made it a little easier, so.
Yeah. There is help available.
There was a lot of information. I have to read
Well,
all of it,
Yeah.
especially the financials.
The other thing is, the first year will be the hardest. These groups are not going to change in subsequent years. Their background information, the people they serve,
We'll get to know
will
them.
all be the same. It'll be the amount of money they want, or if they're creating a new program that they want us to fund.
Okay.
So the first year is the hardest, and then it gets much easier.
Thank you, Pam.
And we're here to answer any questions, provide any help we can too, so.
If you wanna maybe like pull up how Neighborly kind of looks, if you wanna, do you have your Neighborly here? No. Don't click on there.
I don't know. It's not working.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. What What did you want to show us?
Just how it looks once you're in.
Oh,
but it's
okay.
Yeah.
And it's not clicking to it. So, any other major questions, concerns, members' comments, miscellaneous business announcements, so that we're ready for July?
I got a question. Is this a non-paying job?
Of course it is.
Okay. Just thought I'd
Well, we
ask.
do get lunch on the full day meeting.
I heard
There you go.
breakfast and lunch,
You know how we could never justify taking money from a grant. We'd all be sitting here, it's like when you win the 50/50 of
Oh,
some
yeah.
charity. There's no way you're keeping that money.
Yeah.
You feel like a heel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how some people just take the money and run, right?
But then I think they must have needed it, so.
That I
It was meant to
knew.
be.
I give you
We're
grace.
gonna do something good with it, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to it. Jerry, anything? Thank you, welcome.
No, I'm just happy to be on board and
Yes,
looking forward to looking over all the materials.
I'm really glad you're
And
joining
I will
us.
say there's more information to review here than during my village board meetings.
Good. Should we be worrying about Algonquin? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Oh, I'll second.
Okay, did you get those?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor, signify